Welcome to Weaving Resonance, where intuition, energy, and embodiment meet real life. I'm Anna Gannon, international intuitive psychic and intuitive development coach. After conducting thousands of readings for people all over the world and training hundreds of people in developing their intuition, I'm here to help you awaken your unique intuitive gifts, trust them fully, and embody their wisdom. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Weaving Resonance. Let's take a moment, as always, whether you have been listening for a while now since we started, or if this is the first time that you are tuning in, we always take a moment just to get into our bodies. So as I say often, not a full-blown meditation, nothing we're going to be doing for long, but just a moment, okay? So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, see if you can just drop your awareness, your focus, your attention into your physical form. And just notice how your body feels right in this moment. Scanning for the temperature of your body, where you may feel heat, where you may feel cold or warm. Noticing where you may feel tension or tightness or just any kind of sensation. And noticing what's present emotionally, if there's any kind of emotional residue that's kicked up right now, or if you're feeling calm or happy or joyful. And then lastly, just noticing your thoughts. Maybe what's the predominant theme of your thoughts today? And then with that, throughout this time that we have together today, sensing if you could listen to everything I'm going to share in and through your whole body. So not just through your ears, not just through your mind, but through your whole body. As a practice of curiosity, as a practice of intuition, remembering what it's like to practice full body listening. Beautiful. So now that we are anchored in together today, I was watching a movie with my kids last night, and it's an older movie, one that I've never seen. I think it was created in the 1990s, and it's called The Iron Giant, for anyone who has ever seen it. Pretty good movie. Do recommend it if you have kids. And the theme of this movie was that you are who you choose to be. And the first time that line was kind of said in the movie, it definitely stopped me in my tracks. And I felt it through my whole body, practicing whole body listening. And it just really landed in my system. It was like, oh, it resonated. Like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like, we are who we choose to be. And choice and making choice tends to be a big theme just in the work that I do as an intuitive development coach, as someone who does, intuitive psychic readings for a living. A lot of times people will come to me because they are trying to make a choice, whether it's a little choice or a big choice, whether they have been ruminating on the choice for years, decades, or maybe it's just something that popped up this week. And with that, I've had a lot of practice in observing what happens energetically in someone's field when they are either in flow, making choices effortlessly, or if they are in indecision and they are not able to make choices. They feel very stuck. And if you've been around me, these past few years, you probably know that I think about choice a lot. And definitely when I'm teaching, I talk a lot about our ability to choose. And it stems from many things. One of them being that I have personally been in situations throughout my life where I have spent a few years in indecision, in which I tend to talk about that as being in limbo, because that's how it felt for me. And those times, those years are things that I definitely don't ever want to be in again, because it just felt like torture. Specifically, I remember being in my very early 20s trying to decide if I should stay with my then partner, my boyfriend at the time, or not. And it was years of back and forth within my awareness. Stay, go. And it just felt terrible. And now, decades later, when I look back on that time and I can now see energy and hear energy and understand it on a deeper level, I understand what was happening in my system. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today, is this idea of what does the energy of indecision look like in your system so that you can better understand it and be aware of it and know when it's there. And what is the energy of choice? And why does it matter? So a story that I often share is when I was a few years into the work that I do now, to energetic awareness and intuition, I had been working with a mentor who I still work with, and that I just have deep reverence for. Her name is Maureen Pelton. And she had shared with me one day when I was struggling, I was sharing something that I don't remember. And she kind of paused me mid-sentence and said, "Listen, Anna, this kind of work, it doesn't make your life any easier. It just gives you more choice." And it took me years to unpack exactly what she meant. And what she was trying to say is that when we open to the world of intuition, of subtle energy, of deep awareness and perception of what is happening, not just on an individual level, but on a collective level, what we are gifted is choices that maybe we couldn't even see, sense, or feel before that moment. So the more we open our awareness, the more choices that we have. And then it can be a challenge because, once you can see, sense, feel that you have choices, well, then you're given that moment where you have to choose. And this is where so many people get stuck, myself included, in the past. So let's start with talking about the energy of indecision. What does this look like? What does this feel like on an energetic level? Whenever I am doing a reading for someone who is in the midst of indecision, my intuition will show me a symbol of a river that starts to split into two different rivers. And it will show me that this person that I'm doing a reading for and whose energy I'm tuning into in that moment has hit the medium. This person is not going, it's not splitting, it's not deciding that fork in the road. They're not going down this river and they're not going down the other river. They're simply just hitting up against the medium in between. And they are stuck and getting exhausted because they're not just letting go, making a choice and letting the river take them. And this is also what our energetic field looks like when we're not making a decision. Because what happens on an energetic level is that our energy becomes stuck. It stops flowing. It becomes stagnant. And for me, this will look very gray. It will look very foggy. And the longer someone stays between these two rivers, the more foggy it becomes. And actually, the less clear they become, and their clarity shrinks because they're over-processing. And this is happening on a very biological level within our brains, because when we're not making a choice, our brain is constantly running That system is constantly running, trying to figure out what choice to do. And it's ruminating back and forth, back and forth. So behind the scenes, your brain is just running and running and running and never really getting a break. And, it's interesting. I learned recently that our brain actually uses a lot of energy to make a choice, which is why sometimes we will avoid choices altogether because it just takes kind of this burst of energy to choose. But as so many of you probably know, the moment that you make a choice and use that energy to really discern, right, and let go of that medium and flow down that river, it is often right afterwards that you feel relief because you let go. You make that choice, you use that energy, but then you're able to just flow with that choice and walk down that path or flow down that path, right? So indecision, the more that you hang out there on an energetic level, the more that your field becomes foggy and that your brain starts to overwork and the more fatigue starts to set in. Right? So this is the frequency of indecision. It is very cloudy, it is heavy, it is exhausting. When we move into the space, into the energy of choice, what happens is that our energy will immediately clear because we start to enter the frequency of movement, right? We go into that flow. We choose which river we're going to go into, and our field immediately clears because it then needs to make space for whatever decision is next. Because as we know, once we make a choice, there's always, a billion choices after that we're going to make. So your field knows the moment that you make a choice, it clears instantly. And then it makes way for the next choice and the next choice and the next choice. And this is just the beautiful design of our system, that it knows to immediately clear. And when I see someone who is very discerning and is very capable of making choices as they come, they make them, and they just keep picking what river they're going down and keep flowing, their energy for me will usually look very yellow and very clear. And, why does it look yellow? Well, within our system, as many of you are probably familiar with, we have a chakra system. And each chakra is a different color. And each chakra governs and manages and processes different energy. Our solar plexus, our third chakra, which is located around our rib cage. And we have, each chakra has a front and a back, just so you know. So it's not just the front of your ribs, it's also the back of your ribs is your third chakra. This is the color yellow. And this chakra processes the energy of personal power, self-worth, confidence, bravery, action, and choice. It is very much connected to our mental, to our brain. People that are yellow and that really are in their power and their solar plexus, they're usually very good mentally as well. They have high intelligence. They can break down concepts very quickly. And when someone is in their power and centered in their third chakra, they can usually make choices very clearly. And this is why you will hear people say that if they have very strong gut instincts, right, they follow their gut, they usually feel that gut in the solar plexus, right in that rib cage area, because their gut is managing their choices. It's telling them what choice to make, and it's telling them immediately, right? That's that intuitive sense, that intuitive ability of knowing, of inner knowing, is that gut sense, right? So when we are someone who is having choices presented to them and is not really wasting energy, we're just choosing and flowing, our field will illuminate with a lot of yellow. This is also why often if I'm tuning with someone's career, if I see yellow, I know this person is probably very successful because they are following those gut sensations, because they are making choices. They are not being stuck. They are seeing opportunity, or they are moving towards it. And I learned this on a personal level when I first met my husband, because I remember that we went on a date. We're probably dating for less than a year, and we went on a date to go walk around Princeton University, because I don't live too far from there. And we were walking around the university, which is just nice energy, with everything and everyone who went to school there, especially Einstein. His home is there, where he used to live and where he studied all the research that he did. So we were just walking around, and at the time, I was a bartender, and I was really feeling like I didn't know what to do next with my life. I was really torn, and I felt very called to either use my creativity, like my skills with art, or to use my skills as an athlete. And two things that I was really between doing were becoming a cake decorator, right? So kind of using my ability of creativity and art, or to become a yoga instructor and to use my physical abilities, right? Because I've been an athlete my whole life, and I just really understand the body on a very deep level. And I remember talking to my husband, then boyfriend at the time, about these choices, and he said to me, "Well, just choose one. You can always go back and choose a different one." And the concept just literally had never come to me that I could just choose, but always know that if I go down that choice and I start to do it and it doesn't align, well, I can just choose the other one. And I did. From that day on. I was like, okay, all right, I'll just choose to be a cake decorator. And I went down that path. And I loved it, actually. And I did it for 4 or 5 years. And then 4 or 5 years in, wouldn't you know? I was like, you know what? I think I want to be a yoga instructor. And I switched careers and I went in to be a yoga instructor. And just making that choice opened up the opportunities, right? Like I decided to be a cake decorator, and then all my focus went to doing that. So there's a lot of energy that opens up to us the moment that we choose. And there's a saying that I heard once that when you make a choice, the door closes, but the windows open. And what that means is that, the door closes to maybe the other choices that might have been there at the time. But the moment that you make one choice, all of these other choices come in, all of these other possibilities. And then you get to start to flow with them. So I thought that it might be fun today to do a little meditation, a very quick practice, if you're someone that's struggling with making a choice, to see if we can sense in to the choices that we're trying to make and get a feel for which one would feel in resonance with your field. Okay? So, real quick, let's just take a moment. If you are in a situation that you can close your eyes or maybe find a soft gaze, you can go ahead and do that. If you're doing something that you need to have your eyes open, no worries. You can absolutely do this with your eyes open as well. So, coming back to how we started this podcast, see if you could just sense into your body, feeling your physical body in space and time, feeling the surface beneath your body, tuning in to the temperature of the air that is around your body. And noticing what physical sounds you might hear right now, close by or perhaps far away. And then collecting all of your awareness, placing it at the center of your heart, and just sensing and feeling your heartbeat. tuning into the rhythm of your energy, just right there within your heart. And now bringing to your awareness the idea that you are in a forest, walking down a path, when suddenly you come to a fork in the path. To your right, there is one path that you could take. To your left, there is another path. And allowing these two paths to symbolize a choice that you are trying to make in your life. Labeling one side of the path as one choice, the other side of the path as another choice. And even if there's a few choices that you can make, more than two, see if you can just narrow it down for this to just two. And after you label these two paths, one is one choice, one is the other, imagine that you could turn to the path to the right. And visualize that you choose that path and you feel yourself choosing and just starting to walk to the right and walk down that path. And as you choose, just notice in your body what you might feel right now after making that choice. Noticing any emotions, sensations that might arise. And as you walk down this path, visualize that you made this choice and notice what happens after you make this choice in your life. What shifts? Where do you end up? What people may enter your life? What people may exit your life? And as you walk down this path with confidence, you have chosen it. Again, just notice as you continue to walk how you feel in your body. Good, and then take a deep breath in through your nose. So just fill up your body with breath, which is life. And as you breathe out, open your mouth, let it go. And imagine that you could reverse yourself right back to that space in the fork in the road. Once again, seeing that path on the right that you just went down, and seeing that other path, that other choice on the left. Though this time, as you might already think, we are going to turn our awareness to the left side, and we're going to actively choose to walk this path now. So choose this in your system, in your body, and then start to turn to the left and walk. And again, first thing first, just notice how your body feels when you choose to walk this other path. Notice sensations, emotions, thoughts, And as you walk this path, notice what starts to shift. How do you change? What doors close? What windows open? What people or opportunities may exit? And what people, opportunities, or possibilities enter? And sensing in, you have chosen this path and just really dialing in how it feels in your system. Good. And then go ahead and take that deep breath in through your nose, fill up. Open your mouth, let it go. Feel yourself rewinding back to that fork in the road. Once again, being able to very clearly see the right side and see the left side, the choice that is on the right, the choice that is on the left. And now, as you stand here, just really sensing into your body as you are right here in this moment, this time, this space, this day, this second, this body. And tune to that sacred space in your solar plexus, into the center of your awareness, the center of your inner knowing, of your gut instinct. And notice where your solar plexus feels pulled. Letting your intuition guide you. Beautiful. And imagining that you could collect all of the intelligence that was just given to you by you into your solar plexus, pulling it all in, integrating it into your third chakra, feeling it spin and swirl into the front of the third chakra, into the back of the third chakra, and allowing this intelligence to spread from your rib cage into your entire body. As you become this intelligence, remembering your ability to choose, your birthright, to choose your path. And with this intelligence integrated, see if you can just come back into your physical body where it is right here, right now. Feeling that surface beneath you, sensing into the air around you, and tuning to that rhythm, that heartbeat nestled within your chest. And when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, you can go ahead and open them. And just notice that everything that you just learned came from you. That you were born with the ability to decipher information, to discern, and to remember your own confidence, your own clarity that is always within you to choose. And I'll leave us with that phrase that we started with. You are who you choose to be. Even Viktor Frankl, Viktor Frankl My goodness, it's one of those days. Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, which was a book all about his experience in a concentration camp. The theme of his book was that no matter the circumstances, humans always have the ability to respond. That never leaves us. Our choice never leaves us. We always have a choice to how we respond. So sit with this idea of you are who you choose to be, and ask yourself, who are you choosing to be? When you look at the actions that you're taking every day, when you're looking at how you're treating or talking to yourself, or how you're treating or talking to others, just notice, who am I choosing to be? And with that, by choosing that, who am I not choosing to be? Thank you so much for listening to this. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. We're trying to grow that channel. I don't know much about YouTube, but if you'd like to watch this on video, this is on video as well. It's just me talking. If you're seeing me right now, it's just me talking, not any fancy background. And I do think it can be helpful to not only listen to the audio, but to also watch, because it can keep us more present, which is what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to not have as many distractions so that we can really tune into what's happening in our own body. And for some people, having a video is an extra distraction. So always tune in with what feels best for you, but just know we're over on YouTube too. And there's a video of me if you want to feel more connected through visual as well. What do I have to tell you? Oh, okay. So one thing I do want to share is that Intuition and Energy Mastery is about to reopen for this fall. And I'm really, really looking forward. This is the third time we're running this training as a group. And it is something to be in this cohort, to be in this frequency, this container for a few months together with other like-minded people that are really ready to awaken their intuition, to remember how to move energy, how to clear energy, how to ground energy, how to heal, how to manifest, all of those things in a very grounded, practical, fun, playful, curious way. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes peeled. When we do launch it, I will make sure to tell you here. And yeah, that's it for today. That's it for this week. So I hope that you all have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for being here, for tuning in. It is my absolute honor to sit with all of you and to just share all these things that I have the pleasure of learning through doing readings and through doing trainings and through just being, I guess, a human on this planet. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening today. If this episode supported you, please subscribe and leave a rating. That simple step helps this podcast grow and helps more people reconnect with their intuition in a grounded, embodied way. If you want to go deeper, take my 5-minute free quiz in the show notes entitled Unlock the Full Power of Your Intuition, where you'll discover your unique intuitive gifts, whether you're a knower, seer, feeler, or sensor, and learn more about how your intuition naturally speaks to you. Look out for new episodes dropping every Tuesday. I'm so honored to have spent this time with you. See you next week.